Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. A few days ago, I did a video entitled Crystalline Cares and Cynthia G, Madison Amelia, and the White Man. And in response to that video, I received a comment, and I want to take time out now to respond to that comment. It was a rather long comment, a comment that was filled with hatred towards black men, a whole bunch of generalizations. So I'm going to respond to it now. First, this woman goes by the name of Izidora Unleashed. She says that black men need to give black women something to be proud of. See, this kind of woman who obviously has issues with black men, who obviously has hatred towards black men, that type of woman doesn't deserve any kind of explanation from black men. She doesn't deserve some long drawn out comment telling her about all the accomplishments and great things that black men have done. Such a woman that has such hatred towards black men is not worthy of the time or the energy to put forth such an explanation. Anyone who studies history and anyone who knows about what's going on now understands that there are plenty of positive examples of black men that are doing things that black people should be proud of. So I'm not going to waste my time going into a long, drawn out set of examples to provide for this woman to let her know that black men have done things for black women to be proud of. So the next thing she goes on to talk about is crystalline kerosene. She says, why do we have to uplift a group of men who don't even protect us? Again, that's another generalization about black men. There are plenty of examples of black men who have given their lives to protect black women and black communities. And I'm not going to waste my time going through example after example to provide to a woman that obviously doesn't care anything about black men, who obviously, even if you were to provide her with 100 examples of black men protecting black women, this woman would have some excuse as to why that was inadequate, as to why that's an exception to the rule. All you have to do is simply Google black men protecting black women, and you'll find plenty of examples. All you have to do is look in a history book, and you'll find plenty of examples. Again, I refuse to waste my time doing so in this video. This woman goes on to talk about how Crystalline Kerrigan's husband raised a black man's daughter as his own, as if that's something that's special and something that's great. I mean, it is important that people love stepchildren and take care of them. And there are plenty of black men that do the same thing, that marry women who already have children and take care of those children and love those children as their own children. There are plenty of examples of people who were raised by their stepfathers and their stepfather provided for them, not just financially, but emotionally. Someone was there to guide that young person. So to cite this as if it's something that's so unique and so fantastic that, I just think that it's out of place and out of order, because there are plenty of examples of black men and just other men of all races that do that on a regular basis. The white man is not entitled to any kind of special recognition for doing what every other group of men has done. Now, she goes on to talk about how in Crystalline Kerrigan's situation, the particular black man that she was involved with was not interested in marriage. And she goes on to talk about what is she supposed to do, pass on a good man for black love. First of all, my issue with Crystalline Kerrigan and most of our issues with her has nothing to do with her personal choice as an individual. We're not doing videos because this woman decided to marry a white man. That is not what this is all about. The thing that people are frustrated with, the thing that people are speaking out against is her promotion of white men over black men. Not just for her personally, but for black women in general. We are concerned about a platform that's all about disrespecting, disparaging black men, and elevating and celebrating white men. That's our dispute. And despite all the propaganda and all the BS public relations statements that this woman has made, anyone that looks in the comment sections to her videos understands that clearly and obviously there is animus towards black men on that channel. Anyone that looks at her video catalog, looks at her hangouts, they see that it's clear and obvious that the majority of the men featured on her channel are white men. You will see that the majority of the relationships that she promotes are black women with white men. That's the issue. It's not about her individual choice. It's about this woman promoting this idea that somehow black men are the losing team. Promoting this idea that good black men are so rare and practically non-existent that she describes them as unicorns. That's the issue. And with respect to a personal decision that somebody makes if they happen to fall in love with somebody of a different race, although I would prefer that people be with their own, that they accept and love their own, my gripe is not against that kind of situation where somebody genuinely falls in love with somebody of a different race. My problem is with those who consciously seek to date outside of their race, consciously pursue white men or white women, and consciously decide that they are no longer going to even try to be in a relationship with black men or black women. That's what I have a problem with. And in this society in which we live, this society constantly reinforces white supremacist values. So often people who claim that they just happen to fall in love with somebody, often the case is to the contrary. Often black women and black men consciously pursue white men and women, white partners, because they have been programmed to believe that somehow the white man is better than the black man. They have been programmed to believe that the white woman is somehow better than the black woman. And then she goes on to say, and why wouldn't she uplift her white husband, her protector and provider? Again, this is not just about her individual husband. And most of the videos that I see, she rarely is talking about her husband. You know, this man that's supposed to be some kind of savior for black women. She rarely is talking about um, him, or very rarely even features him on her channel. I mean, most of the videos that I see her with white men is her flirting with some white man that's not her husband. So it's not, the issue is not about her uplifting her white husband. And then you go on to talk about how your interracial relationship is built on love. And hey, that's your business if it's built on love. Who cares? Um, then you go on to say, I'm getting something that a black man couldn't give me. See, that's where there's a problem. You know, when you talk about you're getting something that a black man couldn't give you. I mean, that is the epitome of what a generalization is. That's the epitome of what a stereotype is. You're categorizing a whole group of men based on their race, and you're saying that they can't give you love. I mean, that in and of itself is just irrational. It's just a classical example, a classic example of the logical fallacy of generalizations. Because of your own individual situation, you're assuming that black men can't love somebody. I mean, that's just silly. There are plenty of black men that are in loving, healthy, and happy relationships with black women. The fact that you did not find a black man in your particular situation doesn't mean that black men couldn't give you love, couldn't possibly give you love or give another black woman love. And then you go on to say, what are single black women supposed to do? Again, here you are with another generalization. The crop of black men here sucks. What the hell are black women supposed to do? And when you say here, I mean, what are you talking about? Are you just talking about in this world of YouTube, or are you talking about in America? Again, that's another generalization. I mean, if you're so happy, let me just ask you this. If you're so happy in your interracial relationship, why do you even have the need to engage in a discussion with black men? Why do you even feel the need to talk about black men, period? Why can't you just celebrate your interracial love without attacking black men? Why do black men have to be the target in your love? Like, why do we have to be a target? Why can't you just profess your love? Instead, you have to take shots at black men and talk about how black men suck and all this and that. Again, if you truly was so happy and so content, why would you even waste your time and your energy talking about black men? Why would you not direct that energy towards celebrating this love that you supposedly have found? Then you go on to talk about how black men want black women to continue to be loyal to them for nothing. If you really cared about black women, there wouldn't be so many bastard black children. All I could do is shake my head at that comment. Because obviously, a lot of people refuse to take responsibility for their actions. I mean, we understand that children do not get conceived, they don't come into existence with just one parent being involved. You have two parents to make a conscious decision to have sex, and they, because of that, they produce children. Both of the people involved are responsible, the man and the woman. The woman is responsible for the decision she chooses to make. The woman laid down with this man that she wasn't married to. The woman laid down with a man that she wasn't in a real committed and strong relationship with. So the woman bears some responsibility for that outcome. And this notion that even if a child is born out of marriage, um, that doesn't mean that the father isn't there for his children or even there for his woman. There are statistics cited um, and done by the Center for Disease Control that talk about how men, even when they're not in relationships with their ex woman or girlfriend or whatever, they are still there for their children. Black men are more involved in their children's life than a lot of other groups of men. And that, there's a study that says this, and I'll include a link in the description box so that those who are interested can read it for themselves. We have to get rid of this notion that black men aren't involved in their children's life. Even when they're separated, they are still involved in their children's lives. And again, I'll include that story in the link in the description box so that people can read it. It takes two people to have children out of wedlock, and the woman bears just as much responsibility as the man. And often there are a lot of women that want to have children out of wedlock. They consciously choose to have children out of wedlock. And that's something that people like you refuse to acknowledge. There are women that deliberately have children out of wedlock. Again, that's something that you don't even consider in your analysis. What about the woman's responsibility in that situation? And then you go on to say, men like you need to accept that the free ride is over. I'll be damned if I uplift black men for nothing. Well, nobody's asking you to uplift black men for nothing. Nobody is seeking any kind of free ride or anything like that. What we are challenging is these unfair generalizations that have been directed towards black men. We are challenging this notion that the black man is on a losing team. We are challenging this notion that good black men are unicorns. We are challenging this notion that this white man is some kind of savior for black women. That's what we're challenging. We're not talking about that. We're not saying that every single black man needs to be uplifted and celebrated. I'm simply saying that there are plenty of good, strong black men that should not be lumped into the category of no good black man. There are plenty of black men that are there for their community, that are there for their people, who are there for black women and black families. And they have earned the respect in the community, whether you acknowledge it or not. And the fact of the matter is, we can't have a strong black community without black love, without black families. Marrying out and, interracial dating, all that does is undermine our community, which is already um, in a bad condition. And you go on to talk about how any black woman who's sitting around waiting for a black man is a moron. Then she says, why would anyone of sound mind sign up to belong to a community that's full of men who just want to oppress women? Full of men who just want to oppress women. Is misogyny a problem in the black community? Yes, it's a problem. Misogyny does exist, and it exists here on YouTube. But let's not tarnish the whole community and pretend like most black men are misogynists and most black men are oppressors. That's simply not true. And running to the white man or to the Asian man is not going to answer that problem, because misogyny exists in many communities, especially the white community. That's why they launched a feminist movement in the white community, because of misogyny. And we know in the Asian world, there's plenty of examples of misogyny and sexism and all that kind of stuff. So the problem of misogyny is not something that's confined to the black community. It's not something that's greater in the black community. So this notion that you can somehow run from the black community and escape misogyny and um, oppression of women is silly, because these other communities oppress women as well. And if you just look at the history, I mean, who has a greater track record of oppression of black women than the white man? But yet, this is the person y'all want to run to for protection. This is the person you want to run to, the same person that lynched your grandfather, the same person that raped your grandmother, the same person that enslaved you, and the same person that calls you niggers today. Just like that Amelia um, woman, that Madison Amelia. Her boyfriend was oppressive, and he was white. That white man cheated on her, beat her, um, didn't have a job, wasn't a provider. And that's just a prime example of how the white man is not a savior for the black woman. People need to be judged as individuals instead of just collectively celebrated simply because they have pale skin. So let me move on to some of these other points that you made. Then you go on to talk about how you need to be trying to shut up or shut these bashers down, these female bashers down. Let me repeat that so it's clear. You said you need to, hold on one second. You said you need to be trying to shut these bashers down. You need to shut these bashers down. I mean, most people who are familiar with my channel know that I have another channel called I Declare War. On that channel, I've done many videos addressing black misogynists, challenging them, debating their ideas. And I have joined a campaign years ago to try to shut down Tommy Sotomayor. So don't lecture me about trying to shut down bashers because I have done so. That's my record, that's my history. And anyone can go to my I Declare War channel and even this channel right here, my New Possibilities channel, and see that I have a track record of speaking out on these issues. But I would look like a hypocrite if I was to speak out against those men for bashing black women and not speak out against black women who bash black men. I refuse to just be one-sided. And then you go on to say, I meet young women who say they're never dating black men because of what they see on social media. I mean, anyone whose self-esteem is built upon what some unknown person is saying about them on YouTube, I mean, any kind of person that's in that position is a weak person. Your whole self-concept shouldn't be based on what some person says on YouTube. Your whole attitude towards a whole race of men shouldn't be shaped simply because you saw a couple of videos on YouTube. What about your dealings with men in real life, in the real world? That should shape your perceptions. In the real world, this gender war is not as exaggerated as it is here on YouTube. In the real world, most black men and black women are together. It's the minority that's actually dating outside of the race and marrying outside of the race. And then I'm going to read some more of this. I'm just about finished. She goes on to say, you think Crystalline is the problem? Wrong. She's your scapegoat. You guys get to blame her instead of holding yourselves accountable. First of all, Crystalline Kerasin is not all that. Nobody's saying that she's like the root of the problems in the black community, but she is a problem because she is promoting the destruction of the black family, the destruction of black relationships by encouraging black women to abandon the black man and to pursue this white man as some kind of savior. And that's the bottom line. That is what she's doing. That's her agenda. And despite her statements to the contrary, it's clear and obvious just based on the comments to her video, just based on her content, her agenda is obvious and clear. She says, no one wants to struggle with a black man. We want to live well. We have better options and we're taking advantage of them. See, most of these people that are into this swirling, I mean, that's the primary thing that they talk about. They talk about material things. They talk about wealth and money and all that kind of stuff. That seems to be the primary focus that these people have. You know, whenever I hear this woman, Crystalline Kerasin, talk about her husband or talk about these white men, it's all centered around material things. It's all centered around being able to provide, being able to protect, and being able to produce. There's rarely is there talk about the actual character of the person or the personality of the person. or the qualities outside of material things. There's no talk about that. Instead, what you have is a discussion of what a man can physically provide for a woman. And if a woman is just about material things, then let the white man have her. If you're just about what a man can give you, what kind of house a man can provide you, instead of being about the quality of the man, then go to the white man. Go ahead. If you're all about that, just go to that Asian man if you want to. Nobody is begging you to stay. Nobody. If you're so happy, again, why are you here worried about my opinion as a black man? If black men don't matter, if black men are so much of a loser group of people, then why waste your time even debating them? Why waste time writing paragraphs upon paragraphs to a video of someone you don't even know in real life? If black men are so insignificant and so unimportant, and these other people, all this and all that, why do you even waste your time doing that? And then you go on to say black love is a scam. Black love is a scam. Tell that to all the countless black men and women who are in love today. Tell that to the countless black couples who have been married for years upon years that black love is a scam. Just because you have not found black love doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because people have problems in their relationships and even have bad relationships, that doesn't mean that black love doesn't exist. Love is something that has to be fought for. Love is something that needs to be nurtured and cared for so they can flourish. So, again, black love exists. We see it every day. We would not be in existence right now. I wouldn't be here alive right now if black love wasn't real. When you say that black love is a scam, you're basically saying black people are a scam. You're basically putting yourself in a position where you have given up hope on your own people and you have sought your salvation in the arms of somebody other than yourself and your people. So tell me what y'all think about this. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.